Oh man, I tell you what, I'm grateful that the other two guys left us to talk about these amazing games.
Yeah, they drew the short straws, so we get to have all the fun.
Yeah, yeah, they're doing it. The thing is that I feel bad about is we told them they were doing their own 2-man show, but it was just a phone call. They didn't get it, so
No,
we get all the glory.
that's right. Well, almost all the glory.
Well, I guess we get to discuss other people's glory, right? We like pay witness to other people. But you know what? We participate.
That's right. Where would they be without us?
I mean, without the fans, they don't have a league, So this is our taxes pay their salary or something like that, right?
That tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Think you nailed it. So, yeah, Rick, you can thank these guys. Where's your Patreon money?
You're welcome.
It's a circle of life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so just prepare to...
It'll be great.
It'll be perfect.
Y'all motherfuckers don't watch us play throughout the year, to tell you the truth. I'm gonna be real with you, and I don't care if I get fined.
I got my sweet jerk off. Put some shoes on.
That train is off the track.
Who doesn't love the bouncy castle?
Hitler.
Just prepare to... yeah, so just prepare to be awash in undebeatable goodness.
Welcome, Pacers fans. You were listening to the Undebeatables, your semi-weekly Pacers podcast. Today is Wednesday, May 28th, 2025, and this is episode 768. Coming to you from Indianapolis, Indiana, I'm your host, Joey Gaffrida, the man behind the dials. This show, we're going to discuss a 2-1 week of Pacers basketball with games 2, 3, and 4 against the New York Knickerbockers. Joining me this show are one of our analysts, still coast to coast, like buttered toast. From Tacoma, Washington out west, it's our enforcer, John Harper.
What is going on, buddy? Shout out to the missing podcast members. We happy to be with you. I feel like for how crazy this has been and how many shows we've done in the past 2 months, we're still somehow 3 games behind. How did this happen?
Yeah, that was the thing. There's been a lot of stuff going on, both on and off the court in our lives. And, some of the stuff lined up where we could talk about games more than we could have at other times. And then, it turns out, long distance drives don't lend themselves well to a regular podcasting schedule. So we're here. Before we get into the show, I do need to remind listeners that they can support us, the longest running Pacers podcast, by heading over to patreon.com/undebeatables. And you can support our show for as little as $1 per month. Thank you so much to the new patrons. Really warms our hearts. We've got a new patron, Jay. And, this is a good time of year. And, I certainly have picked up my consumption of Pacers media. And, if we're part of your podcast diet, then, we're happy to be along for this fun ride. This year has been amazing. And, obviously we're here for it. And as the longest running Pacers podcast, we clearly are due for some joy in our lives, because it all wasn't always smiles. There was younger listeners may not know this, but there was not always a Halliburton hop.
What? What is this?
Yeah, that's kind of a new thing.
Dark Ages.
So, Harper, we're coming off out. We, the Undebeatables and crew, are coming off a bachelor party on a boat where we recorded the last couple shows, but we've been traveling since then and watching the games as we do it. But we didn't get to talk about games 2, 3, and 4. So game 4, as we record, happened last night. But let's just quickly talk about, even though there's so much to talk about, we'll quickly talk about the games and we can talk about the status as a whole. Game 2, Pacers win 114-109. That was last Friday, the 23rd, almost a week ago at this point. But Pacers, we all watched Game 1. Game 1 was incredibly dramatic, and Game 2 was much less so, where it was kind of like a normal, good basketball game for the Pacers, where they held a good lead and kept it most of the night and, quieted MSG. And this is 2-0, both at this point. The 2 away games Pacers have won, and they get to head back home with a commanding lead in the series. Game 3, I know the team had, even Halliburton had talked about this in the postgame for Game 2, was that they know that Game 3 was going to be one that that could be ripe for slipping away. And they had been blown out against Cleveland that game, Game 3 in that series. And in this one, they played better and should have won.
Oh.
But they did not.
Nope.
This is the Sunday night game, May 25th. And they had leads much of the game. But I think they really kind of lost their character and, just didn't play their game. And ended up coming up short. Also, Karl Anthony Towns went bananas in the fourth, particularly. And he ends the game with it's just 24. But I think that it was so much in the fourth that...
That's right.
Yeah, that they took us down. And then last night, Game 4, May 27th. I was in the building for this one. Shout out to Connie.
Shout out.
Pacers win 130-121. And this game, there's been a lot of discussion about this one. So first of all, Pacers take a commanding 3-1 lead back to New York, which the game will be, as you listen, it'll be tonight, Thursday, May 29th, where the Pacers have the opportunity to end the series. And as we record, it looks like Minnesota has given up on the basketball for the season. So it looks like the winner will be the OKC Thunder. And the Pacers are one game away at this point. This was Halliburton's game. He had done
on the hill. Gotta milk me.
Yeah, they're just for the Hoosiers in the listening. Harper gave me the you gotta milk the cow when you play euchre.
That's right.
And do you ever play? I don't know. I play with some players that would like make eye contact with your opponent and force them to milk your cow.
Yeah, that's
it's pretty aggressive.
It's pretty aggressive, but I've done it.
Yeah. I'm not against it. I think it just takes some confidence. Just confidence. That's what all it is. And read the room, because some opponents, would be pretty offended by that, and those are the ones you got to dig into them more, right?
That's right.
But so last night, Tyrese Halliburton, his box score looks pretty good. 32 points, 12 rebounds, 15 assists, 0 turnovers.
What?
I think I saw Aaron had posted, I think in Slack, that I saw it was last night he threw 77 passes, 444 yards covered by those passes, no interceptions, which puts him number 3 all time in football. for a playoff game.
Very impressive.
Tom Brady threw in a playoff game threw 505 yards, no picks, and Drew Brees did 466.
But nobody's throwing 77.
Nobody's throwing 77. So that's where Halliburton was. He was very much locked in. So Harper, here we sit at the precipice, milking the cows. How are you feeling? What were your standout moments in games 2, 3, and 4?
Well, I mean, it's been wild. That first game was just so incredible. Lucky enough to be able to watch this one back in Indy with you, Joey, and friend of the show, the beekeeper, Greg. And we just did a great job controlling that game. You know, it's tough to win 2 in a row in this league. To just go out and continue to sweep road games against really good teams is such an impressive feat. Pascal Siakam's game this time around, 39 points on 23 shots, wildly efficient, in control all night. Halliburton a little off, got his 11 dimes, but was 3-10 from the field. As we do, we had 6 guys in double figures, but we really just rode Pascal from beginning to end in this game and never really wavered. They got close at times, but we just continued to have the answers. Game 4, we were in control of that game. We're up 20. I thought this thing was a wrap. I thought we were going up 3-0. You got about a 96% chance to win the series. And we were right there. Even when we fell, we're up 6 with like 4 minutes to go or something, I still was not nervous. I still thought this team was going to get it done, but just never really got back into our offense in that game. We were playing half court, and that really played into their hands. As you mentioned, Karl-Anthony Towns post a quick 20 in the fourth quarter, just shooting flames out of his fingertips. Credit them. They did a good job. But they were all but ready to pack that thing in, and we gave them a bit of a gift there, which made me a little bit nervous going into last night's game. But we came out of the gate, looked strong. Halliburton was ready to do his part to put this series on ice. A game for the ages. I mean, it's all anyone has been talking about for 24 hours about this new superstar that everyone discovered overnight. But the stat lines on this guy are crazy. He's like, the quickest to, points, assists, and rebounds, behind, Magic Johnson in the playoffs, right? He's had more 30-point or, 15 assists, 0 turnover games than everybody, but, Stockton and
it was like
one other guy.
Yeah.
Probably Magic also.
Yeah, there's just a couple guys. Like, the people that have done the things he has statistically are all Hall of Fame guys. I mean, none of those or active and will be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. And what's wild about it is it's not anomalous. We've been seeing this from him all season long. These double-digit assist game and just not turning over the ball. It's been incredible to watch. But to be able to do it when the defense is tuned up against a very good defensive team, and to just be fearless out there, right? He's not worried about his stats. He's throwing full court passes every opportunity he gets, right? That's the go-to play. He's not a stat guy. He's a win guy. And just a super fun game, really in control of that one most of last night. They made good runs. They made us earn it, but we were more than up to the task. Another 30-point game from Siakam. So you get 30 from Holly, you get 30 from Spicy P. Very little chance we're dropping that game. We won the race to 120 and topped 130 just for good measure.
And I want to give a special shout out to Benedict Mathurin, who dropped 20 points in his 12 minutes and 29 seconds on the floor. In fact, I noticed one time he had checked in, and I don't even know if he dribbled. He caught the inbound pass and goes immediately to the basket and, gets an and one. and it's stuff like that where he was doing that a lot, where it was, he wasn't on the floor a ton, but when he was very effective. He really has something that the rest of this team doesn't. He just plays differently than the rest of the team does, and I think it could be, disconcerting when you're trying to defend the Pacers as a whole, and other people are the Pacers team is attacking one way, then you got this other guy
just barreling down the lane.
Right, which other people aren't really doing in the same way, but it is just a different look. And I mean, clearly it was very effective, and he hasn't had. He hasn't had a phenomenal playoffs this year, and he's really had reduced playing time. But
yeah, he was solid versus the Cavs, but he's just been terrible against the Knicks.
Yeah, this particular, but you gotta remember last year he was injured, didn't play in the playoffs at all in that deep run that we have. He was there,
he's a playoff rook, man.
But he is a playoff rook, and there's a lot to go through. There's a lot to learn, and I will also say that some of the stuff that we've had a problem with over the years, the complaining to the referees and the ridiculous, the fouls, and that's been completely absent in this series. He still looks, the look on his face is still like he's, just disgusted, and
somebody kicked his puppy.
He has the same look, but he doesn't say anything, and he's staying out of trouble. Does not giving away. I don't enjoy watching people complain to the referees, but also occasionally you pick up a tech, you pick up a flagrant. Those are turnovers, or they're free free throws, and those are gone. So that's just an area of the game to tighten up, and then it's been done. So shout out to Mathurin for really doing more than his part this past game.
Yeah, big time. Plays 11 minutes, 12 minutes, goes to the line 11 times. Saw some other stat where the only other guy who's been that efficient scoring the ball was like Antetokounmpo in some game, probably his playoff rookie year, where he scored 19 in a similar amount of time. Like
coming off the bench.
Yeah. It's really quite a feat. And again, that's a really good defense that we're playing. And he just went out there and took it to him, mixed it up with Brunson on a rebound. They got tangled up, earned himself a trip to the line, and probably not a new friend, but he's not afraid to go out there and compete. And it's the thing about this team, top to bottom, man. They just they play so hard, and just another really fun win. It was impressive. It was an impressive win.
It was, but I did want to talk about one player in particular who has been performing, a little subpar by his standards. Andrew Nembhard, I think in these last couple games, he has been much less aggressive. To me, it just looks like he's lost his confidence. I think that before, even in this earlier in this playoff run, this season for sure, but early in this playoff run, he looked like ready. He would get the ball and he just looked confident, ready to shoot. And I feel like he's kind of passing on some of these good opportunities maybe he would have taken in the past. And his scoring's way down. Not that we were expecting, we weren't counting on him for 25 a night, but
we usually count on him for 10.
Right. That's the thing. I'm hoping 10 to 15 out of him, and obviously he's often gonna have a tough defensive assignment, but but along with 10 to 15 points, is what I'm hoping for. And just some some 3-pointers here and there, and but he hit 1-3 last night, but he just was cold.
Yeah. 3-18 in the last 2 games. By his standards, definitely not up to snuff. Certainly he's been, as a backup defender, first backup defender on Jalen Brunson. So that certainly takes a lot out of you. And, Brunson has a way of just punishing guys who guard him too. So I'm sure it's not a super fun thing to have to body up on that guy. especially being a bigger dude. That said, get all the bad mojo out. We're going to need him to be at his best in the finals because it certainly looks like we're going to be able to punch our ticket.
Yeah, so the Pacers now 3-1, as we mentioned, and 1 win away from heading to the NBA Finals against almost certainly the OKC Thunder, who have had a tremendous season. We had a lot of, I'll tell you what, being in the house at the game last night.
Oh, man.
I have never.
It looked incredible in there.
Well, it was so much fun. And there were a lot of New York fans there.
Yeah.
More than I expected, but I guess, we had some next to us who were nice enough. But they were saying, oh, it's still cheaper to come to Indy and watch the game. Even the lower bowl, they were like, yeah, it's still cheaper to
jump on a
fly
plane.
There,
get a hotel.
Yeah. Go out to eat. It's still cheaper than to go to MSG.
Yeah.
So.
And maybe, Ben Stiller and, Spike Lee, maybe they split a plane.
Sure. Maybe they'll let Chalamet.
They let him fly.
Oh, yeah, there you go. That was really fun. They had Mike Epps and Pat McAfee. They kind of gave him the mic and let him amp the crowd up. These are on top of the regular MCs that we have, but both of those guys, they handed the microphone over.
Oh, are those guys fun?
Let him go. And McAfee, what's that?
Are those guys fun? Who knew?
Yeah, McAfee in particular was
he's pretty great.
Playing it up. Yeah. And yeah, it's super fun. And basically, I'm trying to think of almost the entire Colson's top 25 list. Almost everybody was there at the game. Lance was there. Well, Reggie was there working, but they still gave him his introduction. You know what? Years and years ago, I was at Reggie's last game when they got knocked out of the playoffs.
Oh, so that was your fault.
And, well, no, I thought, I was like, you know what? I was there. I was there for Reggie, the last time we were going to be chanting Reggie's name. And guess what? They were chanting it again last night. People were in a good mood.
People were in a good
mood. Antonio Davis, Dale Davis, Rick Smits. It was Travis Best up and down the line. Jermaine O'Neal was there.
Yeah, J.O. was there. I didn't see Jalen. Where's Jalen?
I didn't see Jalen. You're right. 50 Cent was there. And Jelly Roll, who I'm not familiar with his work, but people seem to like him.
People do seem to like him.
But so many Pacers fans. Also, big shout out to George Hill. Did you see George Hill's moment on the TV screen?
I did not.
Boy, they introduced him. It's Indianapolis' own, and he takes his full beer and slams it while he's on the TV. So
shout out Broderpool, baby.
Broderpool knows how to do it up. So fun night there. And yeah, of course, you know what? Lance was there. Yeah, people went nuts for him.
Was there air guitar?
There was air guitar for sure on the highlights on the screen.
Yeah.
But while the camera was on him, he was like doing a boxing thing.
Okay. Well, I feel like there should have been an homage from like Miles. Like Miles should have given me some air guitar after a big throwdown.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
It just would have been the right thing to do. Well, come on, where's Holly? This is what Holly does.
Yeah. Yep. Whew. So, yeah, the building was nice. The chant on the way out, Sirs in 5 is what the people are calling for.
Apparently they don't want to watch any more of this round at home. Game 5 in New York.
Well, I'd rather just have the victory and
hot take, Joey. Hot take.
and a ticket to the finals for the team. So the series is not over. The New York is not going to roll over like Minnesota has apparently.
No,
but
they're not.
They're not going to.
No, as Game 3 proved, right? We were in control. We were right where we needed to be, and we just crapped that game away.
Yeah, as we record, so it's 72-106 with 6 minutes left in the
Hey,
game.
look, no lead is safe.
I mean, it depends on who you are, but that is true. So, if the Pacers can get one win in the next 3 games, they'll be heading to the NBA Finals to play the Oklahoma City Thunder. And, boy, I don't know that I had that on my bingo card at the beginning of the year.
It would have been a long shot.
Yeah, we all felt good about the playoff run last year.
Yeah, but I think we, like many analysts, felt that, I mean, not necessarily that we overachieved, but we pretty well maximized.
Yeah.
Right? And, this Pacers team said, hold my beer. Good on these guys.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, just an incredible year after a slow start. They've been a top 4 team since the New Year's, right? I mean, they've been playing as good as anybody in the league for five months.
Yeah. So if they're able to close this out, then it'll be IND versus OKC.
Small market madness.
I had a question for you, and we can talk about this if you don't have a good answer, but we've talked about the different kinds of sweeps, right? We've got your regular sweep, right? You've got your gentleman's sweep, which I think if you follow it to the letter of the law, it's the higher seeded team wins the first 3 games, you drop game 4, and you win game 5 at home, right?
Correct.
I thought that was, the strict interpretation.
Yes, that is the most gentlemanly sweep.
Right. Then you've got the douchebag sweep, which is where you lose the first game and then you win the next 4.
Correct. And then you've got the douche nozzle sweep.
The douche nozzle sweep, you lose the first 3, then you win 4 in a row. What's the one where you're the lower seeded team, you drop a game so you can win in their house? You got to come up with a name.
I didn't think you were going to go that specific. I thought you were going to ask me, like, winning that 3rd game instead of the 4th, because we have done that in every series this year. I was just going to say that is the Pacers sweep.
Right.
That's the Yes-Sirs sweep.
It's winning games 1, 2, 4, 5.
That's our calling card.
Pacers sweep. I like that. But I think it's that's a little extra something, a little extra spice. Oof. Maybe it's the spicy P who's like, hey, what if we drop game 3, win this in New York, so we can throw choke signs and dance on Chalamet's head or something.
This team, man.
We'll see.
They're a trip.
Yeah. Phenomenal. So I'm excited, man. Obviously, I'm excited. Everybody's excited. Anybody at my job, anybody who knows that the other, anybody that has any interest in basketball, you're like, hey, did you see that last night? And there's been a lot of side conversations about.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's impossible in Indiana to not be a basketball fan right now. Just be impossible.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what. So that's obviously this is amazing. Then the Fever have already started, which has been, there's games, like there's so much. They're playing tonight. I couldn't watch that one. I started watching that one. Caitlin Clark's out for a couple weeks. She got a quad strain, I think.
Yep. She's been nursing and finally decided to hang it up for a couple weeks, which I'm sure is the right move this early in the season. So
yeah,
good deep team. They'll be fine.
Yeah. So they're they've got a deeper roster this year. They're hoping for a phenomenal run. Hey, maybe we'll be having this conversation at the end of the summer about the Fever making their runs.
I'm telling you, I expect them to be a very tough team to beat come playoff time.
And we're going to have new names for the different sweeps because they play different amounts of games.
That's right.
So we get a whole new vocabulary around that. So I'm excited about that. We'll get to workshop some of those names.
Yep. And Indy 500. I mean, Pacers and Racers. We had it all.
Yes. Yeah, that was Sunday, and the jerseys or the shirts they handed out for Sunday's game. The Vroom baby.
I like it.
Yeah. Marketing teams having a little fun. So, yeah, I've just been, in my waking moments when I didn't have to be doing something else, I'm reading something, listening to something, watching something about mostly the Pacers, but also, also different things around the league. They're good. I really, in our Slack, we got some articles posted. I really enjoyed the one from The Ringer.
Oh,
The Athletic. That got about, it was The Ringer. Indiana Pacers will kill you with weirdness. Check that out.
That's such a good article.
Danny Chow wrote this for The Ringer. It came out today, and yeah, it's just celebrating the uniqueness that this team has, and I mean, there's a lot of discussion about Halliburton, plays different than other people, and embracing that has led to success, and same with Siakam, and also they linked to a shirt which I kind of want to buy. It says jump passes are good now, so I don't know, kind of like that too.
Yeah, man, this team is special.
Absolutely. Well, we'll be back with you as soon as we can. Hopefully after Game 5. But we will see what's in the cards. Any last thoughts on this team?
Let's go Pacers.
This last run.
Let's close this thing down in 5.
Yes, sir. Let's close it down. I mean, I'll tell you, with the three Pacer sweeps in a row, seems like that would just be the thing to do.
Just the right thing to do. Right way to do it.
The finals schedule is, at least the first game is set in stone. I think it's going
to be June 5th.
June 5th. All right. So, yeah, if we can win tomorrow, nice little rest. I mean, both teams get a rest, but the Pacers have done very well when they had rest. So,
yes.
So this will be good. So until next time, you can find us on Twitter. We are at Undebeatables. We're on Facebook.com/TheUndebeatables. Our website is TheUndebeatables.com. There's also a contact form. You can use that to send us a message. Email, shout out at TheUndebeatables.com. And over at our store, our website/store, is where the merch.
For our once and always coach, Bobby Slick Leonard, now in the Hall of Fame. Turn out the lights! This party's going to be over.
It'd be nice to end the party with a trophy.
I do like trophies.
Do we have a place to put the trophy if we were to win a trophy? We have trophy cabinets.
We have, yeah. Oh, yeah, we got trophy cabinets. Yeah.
I don't want to get too far ahead. But
yeah.
I'm not like saying we should build a wing for that or anything, but.
Well, shout out to my New York relatives who will be forced to watch games with me in just a couple short weeks here. We'll all be together.
Ooh, nice.
Yep. And it'll either be the New York Knicks or the Pacers. Either way, I'm going to be insufferable.
Well, dial it up to 11. And you know what? Don't do what some jackass in Carmel did and stab a Knicks fan.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I was talking trash because Knicks fans were throwing trash. This guy.
Right.
Ugh.
Like, that's not cool, but like,
yeah,
this is.
It's not stabby.
That's just not stabby. This is just like a regular, like, real crime.
Yeah.
This is stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, also, speaking of that, the guy, I forget his name now, but the guy, the firefighter from New York, the Pacer fan that they brought in, who was getting trash thrown at him.
Yeah.
I guess they put him on the screen, and he also slammed a beer while he was on the big screen. But I think the Indianapolis Fire Department came and met him with their trucks. Kind of did a
Nice.
firefighter salute.
Nice.
Yeah.
Way to go, Indy.
Yeah.
One good, one bad.
Yeah. We we do some things good sometimes.
And we won. It's a good sandwich.
Yeah, absolutely.